Hey guys, welcome back. It was quite the weekend. A lot happened, and I'm very excited to get into all of it. Of course, we're going to talk about the Cowboys, we're going to talk about the Jets, we're going to talk about my Dolphins. We're going to get a little NBA in as well, and just a little bounce around the league. But I want to start with a positive. We are going to get everyone and their losses, but I want to start with a positive because that Bears Commanders game ended in spectacular fashion with a lot of drama. And I just want to say some nice things about Jayden Daniels. I am super excited about Jayden Daniels. Now, full transparency, I watched all of Jayden Daniels' games last year. He played alongside my nephew, Mason Taylor, at LSU. Shout out to Mason, who had a nice game again this weekend. Jayden has impressed me so much. I'm really taken back by how pro ready he has been, his poise, his energy throughout this entire season. He's just been so impressive to me. And I knew he was going to be a good player. I didn't know that it was going to come this quickly and this professionally. Even after the Hail Mary, he gets with the sideline reporter and is just stoic and balanced. He's just such a pro and he's so good. It's so fun to watch. He's dealing with an injury. It doesn't matter. Everyone wants to say that Hail Mary was lucky. I really do not like using the word luck, especially because if you ask any player, they will tell you they practice the Hail Mary every single week. Practice makes perfect. Luck favors the prepared. Of course, you need a little bit of all of that in order to pull that off. But he had to run around, do all this athletic shit to get the ball down there. He has to have the strength and athleticism to get the ball down in the space to even make that play. He was great. He definitely locked up rookie of the year with that game. Washington has been so impressive to me. And I said before the season, I didn't think they were going to be this good. I'm not going to take that much credit. But I did caution everyone when we were looking at this division about Washington. One, Dan Quinn. I like Dan Quinn. I think he is a really good head coach. I think he's a culture changer. I think he is one of those coaches that players really respect. He brings a certain energy and decorum to the sidelines that players respect. He knows when to get excited. You saw him after the game. He's really involved with the players, and he's a good coach. He is a coach that coached in a Super Bowl. I like Dan Quinn. I think he was the perfect hire for this organization. And when we look at Washington, an organization that has been dysfunctional and frustrating for many years, they have different ownership now. They have a different culture and direction now. I loved that Dan Quinn hire. And I told everyone, let's just wait a little bit on Washington because I think they're going to be better than we're assuming because this is an organization that has taken a massive step in a different direction. So I'm not surprised that they have established a culture there because I thought that that's something that Dan Quinn would do. I am surprised at how good Jayden Daniels is so quickly, even though I did think that he was going to be a really good player. And he's just, all of it is just so exciting to watch. It's so exciting to have an organization turn things around and like really establish themselves in a different direction. I am not a fan of dysfunctional organizations. We need them for conversation, but they don't help anyone other than giving us drama and headlines. The worst thing that you can be is bad and boring. So at least you're going to be bad and interesting. But functional organizations that put players in positions to win are just better. It makes the league better. You're looking down the schedule. Okay, this isn't a dud of a game. I don't know who's going to win this game. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be fun. They're well coached. They put their players in a position to win. Those are games I want to watch. I don't want to watch blowouts. I don't want to watch bad teams, you know, lose horribly. I don't want to watch bad football. I don't want to watch bad basketball. I don't want to watch bad teams. So I love that Washington has turned things around. I love that Jayden Daniels is playing the way that he is. That game was really great. Caleb Williams was good as well. But that win secured Rookie of the Year because Caleb has been playing really well lately. And depending on how that injury went with Jayden Daniels, there was a chance that he, might slip out of that space if he wasn't able to play or, Caleb was able to get some more momentum. So I think that game secured Rookie of the Year for Jayden Daniels. I'm really excited for Washington fans and for that organization that they have switched things around and really become a functional, good team. And that division is so interesting, and I just love it. Now, we've said lots of nice things. Now we've got to get to the other side of it, because man, the ending to that game, as exciting as it was for Washington, is so bad for Chicago, because Tyreek Stevenson, man, that is not the tape that you want to have. It is not what you want to have from the big eye in the sky. Wow. Now, if you haven't seen this, which it's everywhere, you will see it at some point today. But Tyreek Stevenson on the Hail Mary for its throne is like running down the sideline, talking trash to fans, not paying attention to the play whatsoever. Like, his back is to the play. The ball is in the air before he is even realizing that the play has started. It just embarrassing. And then he runs over, because obviously he's out of position, tips the ball in the air, and the game is over. Outrageous. Now, I'm not going to jump to the whole like Chicago doesn't have a culture and look, Chicago's been playing really well, and had that one thing not happened, they would have won the game. But that is the type of stuff that you've got to go so hard on, because the fact that he would feel comfortable acting that way, and maybe this is just an outlier situation, like that's just his personality, and he's just, young and unfocused, but that is a play that will haunt you for your entire career. And not just because you lost the game, but as I said, that game pretty much locked up Rookie of the Year for Jayden Daniels. Had Caleb won and then they went on a stretch, or Jayden missed some time, like that's a game that we're going to go back and look at as like these two rookies facing off with each other. Caleb's playing great, Jayden's playing great. They played well enough to secure the game, and it's on a Hail Mary. Okay, but they lost. You were not only not paying attention, but you're talking to fans. You're so distracted that you're talking to fans. That's crazy. The game is not over. I don't even like talking to fans like that when the game is over. But if you want to, taunt and run around, okay, cool, whatever. They've been talking trash to you all game, fine. Have at it. How are you doing that while the game is still going on? Sir, crazy. And he's going to get cooked today. And look, that was his choice. We all make choices, and that was a poor one. And he was single-handedly, no pun intended, responsible for that loss. And that is the worst tape you could possibly have out there. Wow. That's going to be a rough meeting. And what do you say? He came out and took responsibility for it, because like, what else can you do? But yeah, that's a rough way for that game to end. Okay, moving on to the Cowboys and 49ers. So, sorry for slurping in your ear like that. Here's the thing. I wasn't really sure what to make of that game, because Brock Purdy can run, actually. Brock Purdy had a nice game yesterday. He bounced back from his performance before last week. And San Francisco, I'm not really sure where they are still. But what I will say about the Cowboys is the Cowboys are not contenders. The Cowboys are not contenders. The defense is not good. The offense is not good. The running offense is not good. The running defense is not good. Dak, once again, with multiple turnovers. They just are not contenders. They don't have the talent that they had last year. They don't have the weapons. I don't want to hear about how the offense, like the play calling, what happened last year? What happened last year? It worked last year. When you have talent, when you have a run game, when you have a defense that can create turnovers and give you short fields, you look like a different team. And they're not able to do that this year. And they're not able to do that because the organization failed this team as far as putting together a roster. And when things are not going well, they don't have it within the building to reach down and grab and carry the team. That's not what Dak is. Dak is a really good player. He's a really good player. He was an All-Pro last year. He's an MVP finalist, and he deserved it. He had the best year of his career. And then when it mattered most in the postseason, everyone went back to what the Cowboys do when the lights get bright. That's what they are. They're not contenders. And this year, we should adjust our expectations of what they're capable of. They cannot run the ball. And that should not be surprising to anyone when you look at the running back room before the season started. I remember looking at the running back room and being like, is no one concerned about this? Like, is nobody worried that they may not be able to run the ball at all? Now you look at what's happening with Derrick Henry, and obviously Derrick Henry is going to be this ghost that haunts this season for the Dallas Cowboys because he's having such a spectacular season. He wanted to be with the Cowboys. He works out in Dallas and lives in Dallas in the offseason. They didn't even reach out. They didn't even try or make an effort whatsoever to get him. Now they're saying, oh, well, he didn't fit the scheme, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to hear that. If he didn't fit the scheme, fine. But you also didn't make an effort to go find someone who did. So if you want to use the excuse that, okay, we didn't get Derrick Henry because he didn't fit the type of offense that we run. We don't want to run on first and second down. We want to throw. Okay, fine, cool. Sounds great. You're doing an awesome job with that, by the way. Go get a running back that does fit that scheme, which you also didn't try to do. They don't have another weapon besides CeeDee Lamb. Jerry and the organization failed the team this year. And because of that, they're not able to overcome the lack of talent that they need to win to truly be contenders. Dak is not the type of player that's going to carry this team on his back, which we also knew. Dak's not playing well. The defense is playing well. They're banged up. They can't run the ball. They're just not contenders. And, once again, you lose to the 49ers. And I believe Dak is 2-4 in his career. I could be wrong about that, but he doesn't beat the 49ers. They've lost 4 in a row to them. And I just don't know where they go from here. The Eagles got another big win. Washington is playing really well. They're going to struggle to be a playoff team this year. And because of that, Mike McCarthy will likely lose his job, where he will immediately get hired somewhere else because I think he is a really good coach. And then we'll see what direction the Cowboys go in, because at the end of the day, the expectations should have been adjusted coming into this season. We never adjust the expectations. Because of that, people get fired, things get moved around, dramatic choices get made. And that shouldn't be the case, because when you looked at this roster at the beginning of the season, it should not be a surprise that they are where they are right now. They weren't the same roster. Speaking of no surprises, I told you about the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I told you. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to keep bragging on myself. But when I'm right, I am so right. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll admit it. But I was so right about the Jets. So right. Oh my God. I never drank that Kool-Aid, and I feel so good about it. This must be what Aaron feels like for, not being immunized. Let me tell you something about these Jets. And I'm not happy for Jets fans. I'm not, I feel for them. I spent 1 year of my life as a Jets fan. I really highly enjoyed it. And as I said earlier, I don't like teams that are dysfunctional. I want competition. I want to watch good football. I want to watch the best players be great, have opportunities to be great. I want high scoring, great defense, big plays, spectacular finishes. That's what I want. But if you're going to be bad, be interesting. And the Jets are certainly that. I told you about the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers. The season is over. You're not getting to 10 wins. You're not running the table. Aaron Rodgers is not Tom Brady. He's not Stafford. Okay. He's not even Russell Wilson. Those teams, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the LA Rams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're not the Jets. Okay. We use these comps because we assume that you can just plug and play great quarterback talent into whatever space, and they're just going to be successful. They're just going to take this team that needs a quarterback. They're just a quarterback away, and everything is going to work. And actually, Russell Wilson is a great example of that. He went to Denver. He was with the first-time head coach It was a complete and utter disaster because there was unrealistic and ridiculous expectations of him, which were fair based off of what he was being paid. But it fell apart, and now you're seeing him with a great organization like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he looks like a functioning quarterback again. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Matthew Stafford never has a playoff win in his entire time in Detroit, goes to a functioning organization with a great head coach in Sean McVay, instantly wins a Super Bowl. Tom Brady, right, the greatest quarterback that has ever played, goes to a functioning organization with a coach of the year in Bruce Arians, a great staff, lots of talent, brings in talent that he's familiar with or that he knows he can help put in a position to win. They win a Super Bowl. What about that is a comp to Aaron Rodgers? What about those teams is a comp to the New York Jets? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. We think that because Aaron Rodgers was once a four-time league MVP and a Super Bowl champion, that he is just going to waltz into one of the most dysfunctional and losing organizations in the league and instantly turn it around. And then he doesn't do that, and the head coach gets fired, the defense gets worse. You demote the offensive coordinator, nothing changes. I told you, he's 40 years old, coming off of an Achilles injury. He's going to be 41 in a month. He's not the same player. And that's actually okay. It actually should be expected that after all these years that you would slow down a little bit, that you wouldn't have it at the same level that you did when you were younger, because age gets all of us. That's how it works. It's not an indictment of that part. That part is actually not an indictment of Aaron Rodgers. The expectations, despite that, are very silly. But that part is not an indictment of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. He's played a lot of football. He should not be as fast. He should not be as quick as he was when he was in his early 20s. Why would he be that? Why would he be that? He hasn't been that in years, actually. It was unrealistic to expect that of him. Now, he set those expectations, so that's what we're serving. But I never adjusted my expectations of that because I watched him his last year in Green Bay. His last year in Green Bay, he wasn't good by Aaron Rodgers standards. And we act like that didn't matter and didn't happen. Then he came to the Jets, got injured, and now you have this ridiculous situation with the New York Jets where you are in a must-win. You are 7-point favorites against the Patriots, who are playing Jacoby Brissett, who they benched, and you lose. Who are we blaming this on? Who are we blaming this on? Robert Saleh is not there. Can't do that. Can't blame it on the offensive coordinator. You got Devontae Adams. This is all Aaron Rodgers' fault. Whether it is reasonable to say that or not, it is, because he designed this entire situation. And then, of course, it's back to the reporters. It's the reporter's fault. It's a dramatic question, and he's been in the darkness just to pull yourself out. No. This season is fried, and this is one of the worst. It's one of the worst trades, one of the worst situations that I've seen in the league in quite some time. Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer, will go down as one of the most talented players that the league has ever seen. That doesn't negate this situation being the disaster that it is. And to once again be condescending to the reporters for asking questions and, I just need to be better. The whole thing, start to finish, all of it is a disaster. And I didn't predict that it was going to be this bad, but I knew it wasn't going to be as easy or look the way that everyone thought it was going to. It is not that simple to put together a winning organization. Trust me. I watch the almost perfect juxtaposition of the Steelers and the Miami Dolphins every single weekend about how hard it is to build a culture in a true winning organization. It is not that easy, especially when you have someone who has never exhibited the character traits of building up other people, of putting together, being the catalyst, right? Not the talent, the catalyst of winning, right? So I told you about the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Speaking of the Dolphins, all right, Tua is back. I like that he was sliding. Obviously, the offense looked better. They looked better. And they lost. So where do we go from here? The Dolphins, in my opinion, are built a very specific way. Tua is a very specific quarterback. He's a timing and rhythm quarterback. He runs a finesse offense, speed, quickness, great. Love all that. But if they're going to actually be contenders, they can't change any of those things. Tua has to play a certain way in order to be successful. So we can't change that. In order for the Dolphins to actually become true contenders, they're going to have an insane defense. That is my takeaway, because Tua and the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel and how they play offensively, that's not going to change, and it can't change, actually. We've seen that. If he's going to be successful, he has to play the way that he has been playing. Quick, speed, finesse, fast, get the ball out, rhythm, timing. That's it. That's done. Plug and play that. Tua is going to be what he is. If they're going to be able to contend for a championship, they've got to build a tough, ferocious defense. Now, that is a very difficult thing to do. But based off of the Dolphins' history when it gets cold, based off the way that Tua and the Dolphins' offense has to play, the only way that they're actually truly going to be able to contend is that. They're 16th in points allowed. They have the second fewest sacks this season. They're 26th in takeaways. I understand we have some injuries, but I can't overreact to what I saw with the Dolphins. Okay, Tua is back. The offense is looking better. All right, well, you're still losing. You're still losing. So if I'm going to get excited about what the Dolphins have to offer as far as being a postseason contender and get emotional about this, we need a defense that is going to be able to travel. That's the nicest way I can say that. And so I don't know. I'm not really like overreacting to what happened with the Dolphins yesterday. Tua's back. He was fine. The offense looked better. You know, you lost. So what was it all for? All right, let's get to some NBA. I want to talk about the Lakers real quick. I love how the Lakers are playing. I love it. I love how comfortable they look. The offense going through Anthony Davis. LeBron is talking about how Anthony Davis needs to be their go-to guy. I think this is great for JJ Redick that they're starting out like this. They're 3-0. Anthony Davis has had 3 straight 30-plus point games. LeBron had a 30-point game the other night. I just like the energy that the Lakers are starting with this year. And what's exciting about it is if they can both stay healthy throughout the season, and obviously health is an issue for everyone, but we know that's been an issue for Anthony Davis throughout his career, and LeBron has played a lot of basketball. So this is obviously going to be a heightened asterisk for the Lakers this year, being that those are their 2 best players, and those are, things we have to take seriously. If they can play like this at the end of the season, they are a sneaky problem. You always have to account for, obviously, the role players being consistent, being available, and all of the wheels turning in motion correctly and at the right time when we're talking about the end of the season. But the way that they look right now, the way that their offense looks, the way that Anthony Davis is playing, the momentum that they're starting the season with is and should be exciting for Lakers fans. I think this is something that the Lakers specifically can do when it comes to the postseason, because you have LeBron and Anthony Davis who have so much postseason experience, particularly together when you're talking about them winning the championship, how they look in the Olympics this year. Like, they are 2 great players, 2 of the best players in the league still. And when they are rolling together, they can compete with anybody in the league. Now, the role players also have to step up. Obviously, they're going to have big games, but so that is the case for every team. Every great competing team has a duo, and the role players have to step up and contribute consistently. That's why Boston is so good, because not just that their 2 best players are so good and consistent, but that their role players are so good and consistent. Everybody is not going to be a superstar. That's not how these teams are assembled. So I think that the Lakers have a real chance, if they're playing like this, to compete later in the season, pending health, of course. But I think it's exciting how they're starting, and I like the adjustments that they made, and I think this is great for JJ Redick to start the season with this kind of momentum, and hopefully, obviously, they keep it up. I didn't want to do this. I really didn't want to do it. But man, the D-Wade statue. D-Wade is my guy. D-Wade is my guy, and it hurts for me because I am a Miami Heat fan. I am a D-Wade fan. I have such incredible memories of Dwayne Wade as a Heat player. He's one of the best players in league history, and I just don't know. I don't know how that happens. I hope that they fix it. I hope they fix it and get it right, because he deserves that, and it's such a special moment and such an incredible day Dwayne Wade Boulevard and the statue outside of the Heat Arena. And, it's just disappointing that nobody said, hey guys, let's just pause this, let's delay this until we can get it 100% right. And, it's just disappointing. And I feel for him. I feel for Wade because he deserves the best. He contributed so much to the game and so much to that city. And I don't know how that happens. And I don't know how they roll that out without somebody saying like, hey guys, like we can wait a couple weeks on this. Like we can reschedule the unveiling, just say something went wrong and we want to make sure that it's 100% right. People can move their schedules around to make sure that it's right. So I don't know how that happens, but I'm assuming that they fix it. Anyway, thanks for hanging with us today, guys. Make sure that you subscribe, share, like, comment. We'll get to some of your comments later on in the week. We really appreciate it. And make sure you follow me on social media at Joy Taylor Talks. And I'll catch you later in the week.